Ta-da! Hey everybody, Scott here with Lucy. Lucy on her bed fort. She's starting to really get used to it. It's no longer this like strange, weird contraption. She can sleep on there. Oh yeah, that's right. We're going to drink some tea. Today we are going to drink the 2019 Yunnan sourcing 和谐, which means harmonious. As you might guess, it's a blend. But with this wrapper, this is our Jinggu wrapper by Giovanni Crispino, an awesome wrapper. So this is the wrapper that we use for all our Jinggu teas. Jinggu and Simao teas, also Wuliang. Wuliang Shan's part of that as well. But yeah, 和谐 is a blend of a few different Jinggu area teas. All wild arbor, some old arbor teas as well in there. I believe ranging 80 to 250 years old. That's, you know, the guesstimate range of some of the villages have older, and then even within the same family's grove, they have, you know, younger and older trees. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to do a blend that was region specific. We also did another region specific blend, the Bandung Impression, which is all from Bandung area, and is a blend as well. Check that one out. That one's really good as well. Let's get started. I'm gonna do silver here. I'm alone. So this is kind of a large teapot for being alone, but that's totally fine. I'm happy to drink this tea, even if it's a bit more than 1 cup, maybe about 1.5 cups with this teapot, or 2 cups, almost 2 cups. Let's go ahead and give this a wash. Scotch. Yes. Do this. I like to get the smell of just kind of bathe the whole. Got a tea table. You got a tea table. You got to use it, right? Right, Lucy? You want a cookie? Here you go. She's like, oh, you made me reach for it. It's a nice pillow you have there. The water dripping into the... Alright, anyways, enough talk. Let's get going here. But yeah, it's region-specific blends are not really a new thing. We have done some in the past, but we don't always advertise them as such. So what other blends do we do this year? We did Anxiang. Anxiang is a great blend. Bandung Impression. 和谐, this one. The Impression Cake as well. Oh, the XY blend. That's Xiao's own recipe. That's powerful. That's a really strong tea. Alright, let's give it a try. Try to close it down a bit. How are we going to do this? We won't keep track of which cup, which steep we're on. I think it's going to be too hard. I use the cups to keep track. So this is just going to be, I'm going to get really tea drunk because this tea is really, this tea is like, the mouthfeel is really, really good and really full, but it's not like a super, you know, aggressive, I wouldn't say it's an aggressive tea at all. Unless you can consider coating your mouth and mouthfeel and the viscosity as being very, very strong. The bitterness and astringency is not super strong with this tea. But it's definitely there, but it's definitely more of like, this is a tea that, well, let's give it a try. I don't want to talk about it too much before I've actually had it. Of course I've had it before, but it's amazing too how quickly these teas change when they're young, you know? You know, just even like I can notice differences from just a few days or a week, especially when they're, you know, in the first few months. it's like perfume and fruit. It's like this creamy parfait. You know, like a fruit. I don't know. I've had something like a coconut. It was like a coconut milk and fruit parfait or something. Oh man, it's creamy. It's got a nice, thick, creamy mouthfeel. This is gonna be wowza. 2 cups for each steep. Oh wow. I'm gonna do this here, like make it easy on myself. Oh shit, that's hot. Sorry, Lizzie. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Oh, the smell. Oh, I love that. This tea is just, it's such a treat. It is just, it's elegant. It's an elegant tea. What do you think, Lissy? She's like, this tea's not my thing. Tea is not her thing. It really is not. She has zero interest in it. I think once when she was a puppy, she ate like a kernel of like green tea Bilo Twin. Just because she was like, what is this? I'm going to put this in my mouth. And she didn't actually eat it. She just crunched it and then she just spit whatever she could out. She didn't seem very happy with it. Of course, it was dry. Oh, even more. There really is a bitterness and astringency in this tea, but it's just the buttery creaminess of it is just so, you know, and the viscosity and the texture is so much more in the forefront, which is really nice because if a tea doesn't have that, then the bitterness and astringency is kind of like, to me, is not really that interesting, and it won't really. It's really about the balance between, you know. Got this going on here. Oops, it's gonna be strong. That's okay. I probably wouldn't like it if a robot brewed my tea. Even if they got the timing right. Might be good for consistency, but sometimes I find that through error, I unlock some mysteries of a certain tea, over steeping it or, you know, usually steeping it. That's usually what my error is. So I'm doing pretty good here. We got 3. This is steep number 3. So actually, if I remove this cup here, we don't need this. If I remove that, then I think that will maybe give me a chance to keep track of the number of steeps that we're doing. Got some leaf stuck in here. Not perfect. Oh, she's totally asleep. I'm sorry. She's my girl. She's a good girl. I know, I say that every time. We have been through a lot together. Good and bad. Wow. No, still building. Bitterness astringency is building on this. It's nice using the chahai. It really cools it down fast, so I can just boom, 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 get into it. Yeah, we didn't do quite as many single estate blends as we did like in 2017, 2018, especially Jinggu. I think like 2017 we had something crazy like Jinggu, just Jinggu alone, like 17 or 18 like unique tea villages. But we realized that some people, and I think probably a lot of our viewers that are super into, you know, into the comparison, single estate and that kind of thing. And I am, but you know, that's the thing is those teas do not sell very fast. They sell, I'm not worried about them, but I think we still did quite a few. For example, like Simao, I think we did I want to say 10 or 11, as opposed to like 17. So there's always going to be, some, like this year, there's going to be some villages that we didn't do. Maybe we'll do them in the autumn, or maybe we'll do them next year, every other year, just to kind of check in. I just found that it became like, I don't know, there's a big part of me that still wants to just full steam ahead and just doing the different villages. If they're good, why not? But, building the brand and investing the money, it's like if you buy 60 kilos of tea and you only sell 5 kilos in the first year or less, it's a very slow return, and you're locking up a lot of money into the teas, and it's very capital intensive approach. I like it because obviously from the perspective of being able to drink the teas and enjoy them and have like a kind of an archive of these different villages through time, which is really attractive to me. So we'll see. My approach to building the brand is both sane and insane at the same time. I think that just kind of reflects my approach to tea in general. I tend to be, in one way I can be kind of calculating about how I choose teas and how I include them. In other ways I can be a little bit impulsive. They still have to be good, but I tend to buy more tea than I actually maybe can sell. So we just keep getting like more and more, like, oh, we're running out of space, in our warehouse, and we're gonna rent another space or something, and then we rent another little space, and then next thing you know, a couple years later, anyways. I'm sure you're thinking, these are not problems. That is not a problem. But yeah, believe me, it's a problem. But so Huxie is basically me taking, three or four villages tea that I maybe would have otherwise made single state, and just saying, hey, let's just blend these together and make something. We only made 40 kilos, and it's not a cheap tea. $52 for 250 grams at the time this video came out. But it's not really super expensive either. But I think when you drink this tea, you'll understand why it's priced the way that it is, because it's really, really good. It's really balanced. And you figure 40 cakes, what, 4 times 4, 160 cakes total, maybe slightly less. Am I brewing tea here? Yes, I am. That's what happens. I start talking and blah, blah, blah. I think that was number 4 right there. Dang, I'm sweating. This is... Whew. Yeah, so I went to the doctor and told him I was having anxiety, and guess what he said? He said, you better not drink so much tea. Oh no, he asked me, he said, did you drink much caffeine? And I said, yeah, let me tell you about that. Let me tell you a day in the life. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't go to the doctor and tell him I had anxiety. That would be really absurd. But sometimes I've noticed that I'll drink tea and I'll just feel like, I'm like, God, what's like drink a lot of tea, and then suddenly I'm just like feeling a little like anxious, and I'm like, oh, okay. I drank too much tea. I tend to be kind of an anxious person to begin with, but it's good for me to recognize. I don't know if anybody else there has these kinds of experiences where you drink a lot of tea and then you have kind of like anxiety, and it's like, I just think as long as you can like recognize it, it's like, oh, that's just like this feeling in my body that feels like anxious because my heart's racing and I'm sweating, but it's chachi. It's okay. Like this is something I did to myself, like 100%. It's not an event, so to speak, that I should be concerned about. But I have had a couple of times where I felt like what's happening to me, and then hopefully I'm able to recognize that I've had really strong tea. Yongsheng in particular can really get the heart going. I don't know if it's the heart so much, it's just like that kind of like that feeling like in the chest, it's just like, whoa, that's intense. But yeah, it's definitely something to pay attention to. And I think that's why, for a lot of people, Yongsheng is not really a good thing for people, like physically, or for their stomach. For me, I've had some stomach issues in the past, but I've really solved those with changing my diet. So, you know, I mean, there's limits. Obviously, if I drink like way too much, sometimes on evaluating teas, it can definitely be a little harsh on my stomach. But if I drink like 2 sessions like this one, even with the double cups, I'm totally fine. It doesn't affect my stomach at all. So, really solid there. I'm actually going to reboil the water here, so keep pushing this tea. Oh, gosh, I am having the hardest time getting this. Whoa, I feel like really hot. I want to take my shirt off, but I'm not going to. Last time I took my shirt off, I sat in front of this log and made tea, and everybody just thought I was naked or something. It was like some statement. I was like, and I was like, no, I was wearing shorts. This is one where I sit outside and I talk about spring and autumn, I think. And Lucy's there with me. Actually, that day, I'm not going to do it again. I got bit. I got like 50 trigger bites while I was making that video, and I had no idea. And then like that night, I was just like, I was in a burning pit of hell for like 2 days. But anyways, that's over. It's past. Everything's okay now. I have cha qi and the go qi. Whoa. Glass teapot. Gotta be careful. I will say that this tea, we were on steep number 5 there. Definitely got a little bit of bitterness creeping in there. Bitterness and astringency. Maybe I pushed it a little bit too hard on that steep, thinking that 5 steeps was... I feel like my concept of which steep we're on is really warped too, because I'm really feeling it. Wow. This is very much like... This is a very strong tea. Very strong. Cha qi. In terms of qi, I think it's very strong. In terms of mouthfeel, it's very nice. I want to say strong. Yes, it's strong. Full-bodied. Very satisfying. Very active in the mouth. Very happy with this tea. Very, very happy. I did a lot of blending to get this particular one. I felt like it was the best one. I took some different teas that some had stronger character, some had more floral character, some were particularly full-bodied, viscous, and I blended them together, and I got all those things. So blending is a really good thing. It's a really great thing. It takes time though. It really does, because you have all these teas, and you really want to, and it's hard because it's like trial and error. Really. I mean, you can kind of like, if you drink the teas separately, you can say, okay, well, this tea has this and this tea has that. But until you put them together, you're not really going to know. And sometimes on paper, so to speak, it seems like a good idea to put 2, 3, or 4 of these teas together in whatever ratio that you've decided, but then it just doesn't work out. So sometimes I'm rather like kind of haphazard. If I have like 4 or 5 teas that I like and I want to blend them together, I'll just like take a quarter of each or a fifth of each and blend them together, and then start there, maybe remove 1, or maybe start with 3. It's really just trial and error, and it takes time. That's the main thing, is it really takes time, and you don't want to like overdo it. Like if you try to just do it, like sit down and be like 3, 4 sessions trying to find it, it all just kind of runs together in your brain and in your mouth. Especially these young strong teas, you get this real strong liugan. And so, after a couple of sessions, you're really kind of like, maybe you could go and drink black tea, or an aged pu'er or ripe pu'er and get something out of it, but it'd be really hard to just keep going with a Yongsheng blending and noticing the subtle differences. You're really kind of better off pacing yourself. So a lot of times the blends, they take time because of that. It's nice when you have an established blend. Like Impression's kind of an established blend. We kind of broke from that with the spring this year, something different, all spring. The autumn, I'm going to try kind of more the traditional 2017, 2018 Impression blend and try that just from the get-go. Hopefully once we get all the teas that we need, assuming that we can get them, I'll try that blend and then just kind of go from there and see if I'm satisfied with that. Maybe tweak it a little bit and see, could I do this or that? Maybe make it a little stronger. It's going to depend also on the teas, how they are, what their profiles are like, But anyways, yeah. Anyways, I'll drink this here. I'm getting the old motor mouth. That's what my dad used to call me when I talked a lot. Motor mouth. Kind of a nice way of telling somebody to maybe just chill or shut up. All right, motor mouth. Wow, still really strong. This is kind of a case also of like what's happening in the mouth before you put the tea in your mouth is influencing, this cup as well. So I'm just going to take one. Wow, I'm gonna scale back a little bit here. Take a sip from each of these. Wow. I think the last time I drank the Xiao brewed it, and I think she brewed it a little. I don't remember what we used. Maybe it was silver, maybe not. Maybe it was a Gaiwan. It was a little more forgiving. I feel like she brews teas a little more forgiving than I do, which is fine. But it tends to. Your impression of a tea changes according to how it's brewed, obviously. I'm just, having people over and making tea, and then just like, I realized after a while that unless the people were super hardcore about strong tea, it was better just to let her make the tea, because she tends to be, she can make tea really strong. If it's just us, she'll make it pretty strong like I do, but when we're evaluating. But if it's like people coming over, I tend to just be like, I'm just going to make it the way that I make it, kind of a one-trick pony. I've been wanting to say one-trick pony for a long time. Isn't that a Paul Simon album, One Trick Pony? I think it is. I love Paul Simon. He's great. You ever seen that Call Me Al video with Chevy Chase and Paul Simon? It's so funny. Anyways, yeah. I remember in elementary school, Saudi Arabia, we used to have to we had this dance, like our PE teacher choreographed this dance to that song, You Can Call Me Al. And we did that I think we were doing it for a show or something. I don't remember, but we did that for like a month, like every day. You can call me, and they'd play that, and we would like dance, do this choreographed dance, like as a class. That song is really like, embedded deep in my brain. It's a good song. All right. This is probably going to be it. I'm like starting to sweat through my shirt here. And I'm starting to think, wow, I'm really hungry. This is making me really hungry. The idea that like caffeine is somehow like a appetite suppressant, I guess so. But it doesn't seem to work that way for me. Maybe because I don't know. I don't eat. I eat basically like only in a like 8-hour period in the day. So I tend to be really hungry during that 8-hour period. The 16 hours, I don't, obviously from evening until the kind of late morning, I don't eat, which is good. I mean, it's good to be hungry. Nice tea soup. Lucy is just zonked out. Oh my gosh. I have to say, I know her life isn't perfect, but I tend to sometimes think that it is. Very nice. Still going strong here. I think this is steep 6 or 7. We're going to conclude the video now. I'm kind of like going off on tangents, and I think the tea has definitely got me flying high, as it were. Highly recommended. Check this out. I would recommend picking up a sample of this for sure if you're interested at all, if this has piqued your interest. There's only 160 cakes, so it's not going to sell out immediately or anything, but I think once people catch on, I think this could go fairly fast. So it might be something worth checking out. I think it is worthy of aging as well. It plays nice, but then it really builds. It really, really builds. It's kind of like a creeper, so to speak. I hate to use those kind of terms, but it does kind of have that effect. It's just like boom. I think maybe because in a pretty short space of time, I hit it pretty hard too. But yeah, definitely check this out. 2019 Yunnan sourcing He raw pu'er tea cake. It's a Jinggu blend. And I'll link to it down below. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you don't like watching, unsubscribe. Give me a thumbs down. Thanks.